Good day mga kaagam, I am Sir Romel and you can call me Teacher Melo or Sir Melo. Kung di mo pa ako kilala, I am a pre-service teacher at President Ramon Magsaysay State University San Marcelino Campus, major in Science. Today, let me guide you and let us discover some of the important matters involved in the subject microbiology and parasitology. In relation to that, we will be focusing on the determination of some parasitic protozoas, helminths, arthropods, and other fungal organisms. To be specific, I will introduce to you the top 3 parasitic organisms, and these are the Pediculus humanus, the Plasmodium falciparum together with P. vivax and P. oval, and lastly, the Pneumocystis jirovecii. So now, I think you're ready to know them. Let's go and discover some of their classifications, pathogenesis, life cycle, so on and so forth. So now, let's start with the first parasite with its classification. Pediculus humanus is part of the kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, class Insecta, order Socodea, family Pediculidae, genus Pediculus and species P. humanus. Pediculus humanus has come into 2 subspecies, the Pediculus humanus capitis and Pediculus humanus humanus. Pediculus humanus are parasitic insects that can be found on people's heads and bodies including the pubic area. Human lice survive by feeding on human blood. The Pediculus humanus capitis, or commonly known as the head louse, has an elongated body and narrow anterior mouthparts. The head louse is the most common of the 3 species. Its average length ranges from 1 to 2 millimeters. The female head lice are generally larger than males. The head louse is wingless with a white to gray in color and has a long, flattened, and segmented abdomen. As such, it has 3 pairs of clawed legs and has an average lifespan of 30 days. While on the other hand, the Pediculus humanus humanus or Pediculus humanus corporis, or specifically known as the body louse, which is morphologically similar to head louse, the adult body louse is 2.3 to 3.6 millimeters in length, in which live and lay eggs on clothing and only move to skin to feed. For the life cycle of the Pediculus humanus, there are 3 stages in the cycle which involves the egg, nymph, and adult stage. In egg stage, nits are head lice eggs. They are hard to see and are often confused for dandruff or hairspray droplets. Nits are laid by the adult female and are cemented at the base of the hair shaft nearest the scalp, as shown in number 1. Nits take about 1 week to hatch or ranges up to 6 to 9 days. Viable eggs are usually located within 6 millimeters or near the scalp surface. In nymph stage, the egg hatches to release a nymph as presented in number 2. The nit shell then becomes a more visible dull yellow in color and remains attached to the hair shaft. The nymph looks like an adult head louse, but it is about the size of a pinhead. And nymphs mature after 3 months as shown in number 3 and 4, and then become adults about 7 days after hatching. In adult stage, the adult louse is about the same size of a sesame seed, which has 6 legs each with claws and is tanned to grayish-white color as shown in number 5. In persons with darker hair, the adult louse will appear darker also. Females are usually larger than males and can lay up to 8 nits or eggs per day. Adult lice can live up to 30 days on a person's head, and in order to live, adult lice need to feed on the blood of the host several times daily. Without blood meals, the louse will die within 1 to 2 days of the host. As for body lice, they are similar to head lice. They have a little bit different life cycle, whereas body lice reside on and lay their eggs on the clothing and fomites of the person. Then, migrate to the human body to specifically feed on the skin. And for the epidemiology and transmission of Pediculus humanus of both body louse and head louse, an estimated 6 million to 12 million lice infestations occur each year in the United States among children ages from 3 to 11 years old. The head louse most frequently in the United States which may have claws that are better adapted for grasping the shape and width of some types of hair. The outbreaks of body lice infestations and louse-borne diseases continue to occur globally and have been documented in jails and refugee camps in Central Eastern Africa. As for the transmission, Pediculus humanus capitis or head louse are mainly spread by direct contact with the hair of an infested person. The most common way to get head lice is by head-to-head contact with the person who already has head lice. Pediculus humanus or corporis or body louse are spread through contact with things such as clothing, beds, bed linens, or towels that have been in contact with an infested person. For pathogenesis and diagnosis, the pathogenesis of Pediculus humanus, nymphs and adults of both sexes feed by piercing the skin and sucking blood about every 2 to 3 hours. Light infestations may only cause moderate itching of the scalp and the skin as well as burst sensitization to louse saliva, such that heavy infestations of the lice may cause considerable discomfort as the bites produce red papules, fever, aches, and intense scratching of the skin, and the head leading to have dermatitis and secondary infections. Heavy louse infestation is known as pediculosis and is often associated with crowded conditions and poor sanitation. For the doctor's diagnosis, the diagnosis of pediculus or pediculosis is best made by finding a live nymph or adult louse on the scalp or in the hair of a person. Finding numerous nits or eggs within 6 mm of the scalp is an indication of previous infestation. In addition to that, the diagnosis of head lice infestation may also be performed through visual inspection of hair and scalp or dry-wet combing. For the symptoms, prevention, and treatment of Pediculus humanus, the symptoms: intense itching on the scalp, body, or in the genital area, tickling feeling from movement of hair, lice eggs or nits on hair shafts, sores on the scalp, neck, and shoulder, bite marks, especially around the waist, upper thighs, pubic area, and scalp area. Prevention: avoid direct physical contact during play and other activities at home, school, and elsewhere. Do not share clothing such as shirts, hats, scarves, coats, sports uniforms, hair ribbons, and other personal things. Disinfect combs and brushes used by an infested person in hot water for at least 5 to 10 minutes. Change clean clothes and take a bath regularly. For the treatment, over-the-counter or OTC medication include the application of permethrin and pyrethrin, which frequently kills the nits and nymphs of the lice. Other over-the-counter OTC treatment products that the doctors prescribe includes the ivermectin, spinosad, and the malathion, which are toxic products to lice. As a summary, Pediculus humanus are parasitic insects which can be found in people's head and body. P. humanus has come in 2 subspecies such as the Pediculus humanus or Pediculus humanus corporis, or literally known as the body louse, and Pediculus humanus capitis, or literally known as the head louse. These 2 parasitic subspecies feed on humans' blood in order to survive. Its life cycle has 3 important stages, starting with the egg stage, wherein the egg or nits are hard to see and are often confused for dandruff or hairspray droplets. In nymph stage, the egg begins to hatch to release nymph, and the nit shell then becomes more visible dull yellow in color and remains cemented on the hair shaft. In the adult stage, female louse are usually larger than males and can lay up to 8 eggs per day, such that adult lice can only live up to 30 days on the person's head and body. Pediculus humanus in both head and body are being transmitted through direct or physical contact to an infected person. Nymph and adult louse of both sexes feed by sucking the blood in the skin for about 2 to 3 hours. The diagnosis of lice infestation is best made by finding a live nymph or adult louse on the scalp or in the hair of a person. Visual inspection of hair and scalp may also be performed using the dry or wet combing. The common signs and symptoms of lice infestation includes intense itching on the scalp, body, or in the genital area, tickling feeling from movement of hair, sores on the scalp, neck, and shoulder, and bite marks around head and body. To prevent lice infestations, one main prevention is to avoid physical or direct contact to an infected person and avoid using stuffs and things of an infested person. And so, the best treatment of these lice infestations and most likely recommended by doctors is the process of OTC or the over-the-counter medication that kills lice, which uses the application of permethrin and pyrethrin with additives, which frequently kills the nits and nymphs of the lice. As for the second parasite, with its classification, Plasmodium parasite is part of the kingdom Chromista, phylum Apicomplexa, class Aconoidacida, order Hemosporida, family Plasmodidae, genus Plasmodium, and species P. falciparum. Plasmodium falciparum, P. vivax, and P. oval are the protozoas that causes an infectious disease known as malaria. P. falciparum is the most severe strain of malaria, which correlated with almost every malarial death. P. falciparum are elongated and crescent shaped, by which they are sometimes identified. A mature gametocyte is 8 to 12 micrometer long and 3 to 6 micrometer wide. The oquinite is also elongated, measuring about 18 to 24 micrometer. An oocyst is rounded and can grow up to 80 micrometers in diameter. As such, the most distinctive features of P. vivax are the enlarged infected erythrocytes and the appearance of granules called Schaffner's dots over the erythrocyte cytoplasm. These granules are manifestation of Cabiola vesicle complexes that form on the erythrocyte membrane. The growing trophozoite of P. vivax often has an amoeboid appearance, and the ischizons can have more than 20 merozoites. The P. oval also exhibits Schaffner's dots and an elongated erythrocyte, making it difficult to distinguish from P. vivax. In general, P. oval is a more compact parasite than P. vivax. This compactness is most evident in the growing trophozoite stage, and fewer merozoites are found per ischizon. P. oval has also more of a tendency to form elongated host erythrocytes. And for the life cycle of the organism, there are 4 stages in the cycle, which includes the human, blood, mosquito, and liver stages. Sporozoites infect liver cells presented in number 2 and mature into ischizons presented in number 3, which rupture and release merozoites presented in number 4. And take note, in P. vivax and P. oval, a dominant stage or the hyponozoites can persist in the liver if untreated and cause relapses by invading the bloodstream weeks or even years later. After this initial replication in the liver or in the exoerythrocytic schizogony presented in letter A, the parasites undergo a sexual multiplication in the erythrocytes or in the erythrocytic schizogony as shown in letter B. As such, the merozoites infect red blood cells as presented in number 5. The ring stage trophozoites mature into ischizons, which rupture releasing merozoites as shown in number 6. Some parasites differentiate into sexual erythrocytic stages or gametocytes as shown in number 7 of the figure. To continue, blood stage parasites are responsible for the clinical manifestations of the disease. The gametocytes, whereby male or microgametocytes and female or macrogametocytes are ingested by an Anopheles mosquito during a blood bill as shown in number 8. The parasite's multiplication in the mosquito is known as the sporogenic cycle as presented in letter C, while in the mosquito stomach, the microgametes generating zygotes as presented in number 9. The zygotes in turn become motile and elongated or occipites as shown in number 10, which invade the mid-gut wall of the mosquito where they develop into oocysts as presented in number 11. The oocysts grow, rupture, and release sporozoites shown in number 12, which make their way to the mosquito salivary glands, and inoculation of the sporozoites into a new human host perpetuates the malaria life cycle. And for the epidemiology and transmission, malaria is a life-threatening disease caused by Plasmodium parasites. Children aged under 5 years old are the most vulnerable group affected by malaria. In 2018, P. falciparum accounted for 99.7% of estimated malaria cases in the African region, 50% cases in the Southeast Asian region, 71% of cases is in the Eastern Mediterranean, and 65% in the Western Pacific region, such that P. vivax is the predominant parasite in the region of the Americas, accounting for 75% of malaria cases. The transmission of malaria parasites are from the mosquito to its human host in the form of sporozoites during a blood meal. These immediately migrate to the liver where they invade hepatocytes and from ischisons. When these ischisons rupture, Plasmodium merozoites are released into the blood. For pathogenesis and diagnosis of Plasmodium, malarial infection begins when a person is bitten by an infected female Anopheles mosquito and Plasmodium parasites in the form of sporozoites are injected into the bloodstream. The sporozoites travel to the liver, multiplying asexually over the next 7 to 10 days. During this time, there are no symptoms being demonstrated or seen. As for the diagnosis, malaria parasites can be identified by examining a drop of patient's blood using microscope, whereby that drop being spread out as a blood smear on a microscope slide. Plasmodium parasites may be visualized on both thick and thin blood smears stained with GEMSA, right or right GEMSA stains. GEMSA is the preferred stain as it allows for detection of certain morphologic features such as the Schaffner's dots, and the thick smears are used to detect the presence of Plasmodium parasites while the thin smears are used for species-level identification. For the symptoms prevention and treatment, signs of malaria are similar to flu symptoms, and this includes fever and sweating, chills that shake the whole body, headache and muscle aches, fatigue or tiredness, chest pain, difficulty in breathing and cough, diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. Prevention: apply mosquito repellent with DEET to exposed skin. Drape mosquito netting over beds. Put screens on windows and doors. Treat clothing, mosquito nets, tents, sleeping bags, and other fabrics with an insect repellent called Permethrin. Wear long pants and long sleeve to cover the skin. The treatment: to treat malaria, the specialist or healthcare provider will prescribe drugs to kill the malaria parasite. Some parasites are resistant to malaria drugs, such that the anti-malarial drugs include artemisinin drugs, chloroquine, doxycycline, mefloquine, and quinine. In summary, the Plasmodium protozoa such as the P. vivax, P. falciparum, and P. oval are the main reasons of an infectious disease known as malaria. The malaria parasite cycle involves two hosts. During a blood meal, a malaria-infected female Anopheles mosquito inoculates sporozoites into the human host. The life cycle of Plasmodium involves 4 main stages: the human stage, the blood stage, the mosquito stage, and lastly, the liver stage. The likelihood of a mosquito acquiring an infection during a blood meal depends on a wide array of human, parasite, and mosquito factors. Malaria parasites are transmitted from the mosquito to its human host in the form of sporozoites during a blood meal. These immediately migrate to the liver where they invade the hepatocytes and from ischisons. When these ischisons rupture, Plasmodium merozoites release into the blood. With that, microscopy or the morphologic analysis takes place as it continues to be the gold standard for malaria diagnosis. Malaria parasites can be identified by examining a drop of patient's blood using microscope, whereby the blood smears stained using the GEMSA, right, or GEMSA stained diagnosis. Malarial symptoms are similar to flu symptoms, such as fever and sweating, chills that shake the whole body, headache and muscle aches, fatigue or tiredness, chest pain, diarrhea, nausea, and vomiting. Malaria can prevent by means of applying mosquito repellent, putting screens on windows or doors, and wearing long pants or long sleeves as well. In treating malaria, the type of medication and length of treatment depends on which parasites causing symptoms. Anti-malarial drugs include artemisinin drugs, chloroquine, mefloquine, doxycycline, and quinine. If symptoms persist, a patient must consult the doctor as soon as possible to avoid severe infections of the disease. And for the last parasite, with its classification, P. girovechi is part of the kingdom fungus, phylum Ascomycota, class Pneumocystidomycetes, order Pneumocystidales, family Pneumocystidaceae, genus Pneumocystis, and species P. girovechi. Pneumocystis girovechi is a fungal opportunistic pathogen which causes the disease Pneumocystis pneumonia or PCP in immunocompromised individuals. Pneumocystis girovechi, as previously known as Pneumocystis carinii, was classified as a protozoan. The P. girovechi exists in two main forms, namely the tropic form, or also called as the trophozoite, and the cyst form, or also called as the sporozoites. The oval, spherical, cup-shaped, thick-walled cyst ranges from 6 to 8 micrometers in diameter, which contains up to 8 intracystic pleomorphic sporozoites. As such, the extracystic trophozoite is thin-walled and varies in size from 2 to 6 micrometers. And for the life cycle of the organism, there are two phases involved in the cycle, which is the sexual and asexual phases, such that the binary fission happens during the trophic stage. The picture shows the generalized life cycle proposed by John J. Ruffolo for the various species of Pneumocystis. These fungi are found in the lungs of mammals, where they reside without causing overt infection until the host immune system becomes weakened, then and oftentimes severe pneumonia can result. In the asexual phase, trophic forms as presented in number 1 replicate by mitosis from the process presented in 2 up to 3. On the other hand, in the sexual phase, the haploid trophic forms conjugate as presented in number 1 and produce a zygote or sporozyte in the early cyst presented in number 2. The zygote undergoes meiosis and subsequent mitosis to produce 8 haploid nuclei in the late phases as presented in number 3. Spores exhibit different shapes such as spherical and elongated forms. It is postulated that the release occurs through a rent in the cell wall. After release, the empty space case usually collapses but retains some residual cytoplasm as presented in number 4. A trophic stage where the organisms probably multiply by binary fission is also recognized to exist, and thus, the organism causes disease in the immunosuppressed individuals. For the epidemiology and transmission of the P. girovechi, a fungus causing PCP or Pneumocystis pneumonia is commonly described in HIV-infected individuals as an AIDS-defining illness. A 2016 published study of HIV-infected individuals in USA reveals a calculated incidence rate of PCP per 1,000 persons every year, accumulating 29.9 from 1994 to 1997, 7.7 from 1998 to 2002, and 3.9 from 2003 to 2007. For transmission, Pneumocystis first appeared in Europe following World War II as a cause of severe pneumonia in premature and malnourished infants, such that animal-to-animal transmission via airborne route has been demonstrated, which affects 70% of the people worldwide. The next one, pathogenesis and diagnosis. The pathogenesis of Pneumocystis jirovecii has a predilection to infect the lung in at-risk individuals. Microscopic examination reveals that P. jirovecii attaches to type 1 alveolar epithelium, which allows the fungus to transition from its small trophic form to larger cystic form. Adherence of P. jirovecii to alveoli is not the singular cause of diffuse alveolar damage, but rather it is the host's own inflammatory response that causes significant lung injury and impaired gas exchange, leading to passively respiratory failure. As for the diagnosis, the specific diagnosis is based on the microscopic identification of P. jirovecii trophozoites and cysts is performed with stains that demonstrate either the nuclei of trophozoites and intracystic stages such as GEMSA or the cyst wall such as silver stains. In addition, immunofluorescence microscopy using monoclonal antibodies can identify the organisms with higher sensitivity than conventional microscopy. And for the symptoms, prevention, and treatment, the symptoms of pneumocystis pneumonia or PCP can develop over several days or weeks, and this includes fever, cough, difficulty breathing, chest pain, chills, fatigue, or tiredness. For the prevention, there is no vaccine to prevent PCP. A specialist might prescribe medicine to people who are more likely to develop the disease. The medicine most commonly used to prevent PCP is called trimethoprim or sulfamethoxazole. And for the treatment, the most common form of treatment is trimethoprim or sulfamethoxazole, which is also known as cotrimoxazole and by several different brand names including Bactrim, Septra, and Cotrim. This medicine is given by mouth or through a vein for 3 weeks. In summary, Pneumocystis jirovecii is a fungal parasitic and opportunistic pathogen which causes the disease pneumocystis pneumonia or PCP in immunocompromised individuals. P. jirovecii comes into two main forms, the trophic form or also called as the trophozoites and the cyst form or also called as the sporozoites. The life cycle of the organism comes into two phases, the sexual and the asexual phases, in which the trophic stage, the organisms probably multiply through the process of binary fission. The P. jirovecii infects the lung in at-risk individuals in which leading to severe lung failure and other respiratory disabilities. The diagnosis performed is through GEMSA staining and examining the pathogen using the microscope to read more fine details of the fungus. Currently, the symptoms of the P. jirovecii includes fever, cough, difficulty breathing, chest pain, chills, fatigues, or tiredness. There is no vaccine to prevent PCP or pneumocystis pneumonia, so that the specialist might prescribe medicine to prevent the disease and treat the disease using the trimethoprim or sulfamethoxazole, which is also known as cotrimoxazole. These medicines are given by mouth or through a vein for 3 weeks. Well, that's all for today mga kaagham. I hope that you learned a lot in our fruitful and exciting discussion about various parasitic organisms, especially the Pediculus humanus, the Plasmodium falciparum, the P. vivax, P. oval, and the Pneumocystis jirovecii. And this will be a big help if you share this video to your colleagues and other friends. Hanggang sa muli mga kaagham!